Hello, and welcome to the Newbie Dentist Podcast, the safe place for newbie dentists to connect, collaborate, learn, and grow. The Newbie Dentist Podcast aims to provide high-quality and high-value content for all the newbie dentists out there. With your host, Dr. Omid Azami.
Hello and welcome back for another episode of the Newbie Dentist Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Omid Azami, and I'm excited to be here with fourth-year dental student Luke Shapiro, the man behind @FutureDentist on Instagram. Luke, how you doing today?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. So how I like to do these things is we'll just sort of jump into your origin story. So tell us a little bit about yourself, why you decided to pursue dentistry, where you're studying right now, and then we'll sort of take things from there.
All right. So I was born in New York City. I went to high school in Brooklyn. Then I went to college in St. Louis at WashU. I was a Spanish major, weirdly enough. And then I went to dental school. Well, I am in dental school in Stony Brook, New York, which is in Long Island. My dad's a dentist. My brother's in dental school. He's a first year at Penn.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, I'm loving it. Fourth year's the best.
Yeah. So, I'm always interested because obviously it seems like there's a lot of dentists or dental students that pursue dentistry because they're parents, one or two of their parents are dentists. So what role did that your dad being a dentist have in your decision making coming up, or what view of dentistry did you have, and how has it changed now that you're actually in the process yourself and becoming a dentist?
Yeah. So I first thought I wanted to be a physician. My mom actually always was like, "Oh, you got to be a doctor." And my dad really never said anything. He really let me make my own decision. And what happened was I was shadowing a bunch of doctors, physicians, and every single one of them was like, "Don't go to medical school. Now's not the time. Your dad's a dentist. He's a great dentist, and you have a connection to the field, and we're all jealous of dentists." So I was like, all right, I'll check it out. And I really shadowed my dad and then all his friends, and that's
and here you are now. That's funny because that was my experience too. I wanted to be a doctor as well, be a physician, and then having that conversation with everyone, everyone was like, "What are you doing? Dentistry is so much better." And it's funny, other people have said that too. It's funny that's an ongoing theme, it seems like. So you're in fourth year now. So give us a little taste of what dentistry is like at your school, sort of the curriculum and what you've been up to for the past few years in clinic.
So basically, when you get into dental school, you think what's going to happen because you shadow dentists for however long, but it is a completely different ball game. I think we had 15 hours of class in college, and then dental school, you're doing 30 hours.
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
So that was a big change for sure. And the first year, it was all just the basic sciences, and I just wanted dentistry so badly. And now that I'm a fourth year, I really enjoy, getting to discuss cases with my dad and all the faculty and all my friends. And there's so much to learn in dentistry that I probably don't even know. I probably know nothing now, and I'm a dental student. So I really enjoyed the journey.
That's awesome. So what, what's your, does your school have quotas they have to meet for certain number of crowns you got to do, a certain number of restorations you have to do and all that?
Yeah. So we have, it's a point system. So we actually start clinic in second year. That's one of the reasons why I chose my school.
That's pretty sweet. Yeah.
And actually, honestly, at the end of first year, you're already assisting and getting medical history. So you're interacting with patients at least.
That's pretty cool.
The quotas are, I think they're really high. Third year, we had to do 4 crowns, and then fourth year, we have to do 22. So that's a total
22 crowns.
So that's a total of 26. I'm not even halfway through, and I'm graduating in 3 months. So we'll see how that goes.
How many have you done now?
I've done I think I've inserted 8 this year. So.
Oh man! So what happens if you don't finish it? Is it a strict thing, or is kind of?
No, you need to finish. If not, you don't graduate. So actually, a lot of people, we have graduation on May 18th, and they'll even stay 3 weeks, a month later, just to finish up the cases. But
that's
we have
great.
the crown comp. We have 22 crowns this year. We have to do 13 arches.
Yeah.
And then those are like the big ones. And then you have to do some root canals and extractions and like 200 points of fillings. So it's a lot, but I like it all. I'm happy.
That's awesome. So how do you where's like the flow of patients coming from? Because I know like I mean I started in Australia, so we had a pretty cool system, like access to patients too, because we had there's like a public system there. So we worked in a dental hospital in the city, and patients who were like sort of like Medicaid patients, like for you guys in the US, I would say they had free access to come see us, so they don't have to pay anything. So it was cool because there was no like barrier to like treatment planning. Like no one's gonna be like, oh, I can't afford that, or I don't want to pay for that kind of thing. So where do you guys get that flow of patients where you're able to do like 22 units of crowns like in fourth year?
So the prices are lower. A crown at the school is between $500 and $600. And the normal price in the area, I think, would be like $1,200, $1,500. So like you said, we have a lot of Medicaid patients, but so the Medicaid is paying for certain treatments, but also we have a lot of veterans because they give a veteran discount. They actually give half off to veterans.
Oh, nice.
A lot, and then just like a lot of people who are retired or immigrants that can't afford, that don't have dental insurance and can't afford the normal prices, they come there. That's like the bulk of our population. So there's always a lot of work to be done. I have to say, I'm busy in clinic with multiple, like 3-4 patients every day.
That's amazing. So, and so in fourth year, how many days would you say like you're in clinic? Is it every day
every
or
day?
Every day. Like, is it like 6 hours? Like, is it 2-3 hour sessions, or how do you guys break it up?
So,
or is it just like you're just there 9 to 5 and then just see as many as you can?
So second year you're in clinic 2 days a week. Third year you're in clinic 4 days a week, and then this year we're in clinic all day, every day, 9 to 5. So we have a 4-hour session in the morning and then a 3-hour session at night. I mean, not at night.
Like in the afternoon. Yeah. That's sick. So you get like a lot because from what I've gathered, obviously there's going to be like a lot of variation like between school to school and like how much clinical exposure you get and how much procedures you get to do. But that seems to be like up there with like what I've heard. So it seems like you got yourself into like a really good program and got some really good training.
Yeah. Talking to other people at other schools, just like my dad as well, I think we are definitely at the top of our clinical education. And I mean, when I applied to school, I had no idea requirements or anything. So I just consider myself really lucky to be in this situation and have this experience.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then what about, say, for example, like CAD/CAM or CEREC, or like, are you guys doing anything with like technology that's like more cutting edge, or is it still more like traditional, like impressions, PFM crowns, like that kind of thing?
So our school, there's 5 schools in the US that were that are now part of this new initiative, digital schools. So our curriculum is being completely revamped. For example, like in first year, instead of doing waxing, you're now going to be doing CAD/CAM, like automated design.
Really? That's amazing.
And this year, like it's just starting. So this year we just have to do, the requirement is just 1 crown to be done through CAD/CAM, but in the future, I think we'll eventually be mostly digital. So we're in that transition period, but the school is definitely making the push towards the digital curriculum.
That's amazing. So that's like, it's pretty, so what are the other 5 schools? Do you know them, or?
Penn, I think, is one.
Yeah. Kentucky, so your brother's there.
My brother's there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure the other 2.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And then how about like implants? I know that's like a hot topic nowadays too. Like, do you guys get any exposure to that, or you get to like restore any or place any?
So we have an implantology course, so we learn how to restore, how to place, all that. We don't place, we just have requirements to assist placements. If you do a GPR at the school, you can definitely, you will place implants. And then in terms of restoring, we restore a lot. I've restored like a half dozen or so. So, and all faculty are very knowledgeable about implant systems and the treatment planning that goes with it. And
Okay, that's pretty cool. So it seems like you're pretty much ready to go. Like when you're like finish up school, you have a lot of experience, more so than like a lot of grads, I would say. So I know in like the state of New York, it's like a requirement to get your license that you got to do like a residency or a GPR. So I'm assuming like that's like we talked about, that's where you're going to be going into next year as well. And how do you like select what programs you're interested in? Like what criteria were you kind of looking at or are looking into for next year?
So I applied to orthodontic residency, and there's only like 50 or so programs.
Yeah.
So I basically just applied to any that were in a city. In a city. Yeah. That got me down to like about 20 schools or so. But for the residency programs, it is a challenge to find like, what programs to apply to if it's not just based on location, because there really isn't like a centralized guidebook or website that delves into the nitty gritty of each school. It has basic information about the schools, but you really need to talk to the residents and visit to really get a good sense of that. I'm actually, funny you like mentioned this, I'm working with Ignite DDS on making a guidebook for residencies, because so many students.
That's a great, I was just, as you were mentioning that, I was going off in my mind. I was like, oh man, that'd be a good idea to like start that off. So it's good that you guys are doing that already.
We're trying, but it's very difficult to do, because these program directors, they're dentists, so they're focused on the dentistry, and it's hard to reach them, and they don't really have time to fill out like a 5-10 minute survey. But I'm going to be optimistic, and I think.
Have you tried reaching out to like the current residents and stuff to do the survey instead of the director, or?
So now we're doing that. We originally reached out to the directors and we got some responses, but now we're going to go to the residents or the assistants or the janitors or whoever works at the school. Information.
That's pretty cool. So, I mean, one of the reasons I reached out to you and, I was excited to talk to you was you're pretty active, obviously, on like social media, Instagram. And you sort of got that like Facebook group that we're part of now. It's like a little mastermind. So it seems like you have a lot of things on the go, right? And that's something that excites me too, because I'm sort of working on a few things, and I got the podcast going, and I'm trying to grow that and sort of see where that takes me. So where did you get the inspiration initially, and how has like your vision changed of like where you want things to go from like when you first started? Because I know obviously like from my experience when I started everything, like you would think of like, oh, I'm going to go down this road, but like things sort of take you on different paths, and you kind of roll with the punches and like just change up your vision as you go along. So I'm curious for you, like when you first started, like for example, the Future Dentist page, what did you hope it would become, and like where is it now, and how is it different to what you thought?
So I originally started the page because my brother was applying to schools, and he'd ask me, like what about this school? What about this school? And I had been to dental conferences and talked to people there, and I realized like I could just like have him talk to them or have them show off their school. So it really stemmed from that I could create a Snapchat and give it to my friends at all these schools, and they could show off their school and like what's going on there. And then I reached out to Dentistry in My World, which is like a big account on Instagram with 100,000 followers. And I said, hey, I just started this new account. Do you think you could repost me and see if people would be interested in showing off their schools? And he did. And then it just, exploded from there.
Nice.
To like a few thousand people now. And this response has been amazing. Like I just give out the account username and password and pray that nobody steals it from me. We've had Iceland and Mexico and England and Australia, and it's been really fun to see how different schools are, but also like how similar we all are. We all have
exactly
the sim lab and with the phantom heads and steps, and I think we all go through like the same struggles, but the same, I don't know.
Yeah, the experience is pretty similar. I think like the amount of stuff you do might be different, like we talked about, but I think the overall experience of the 4 years is pretty unique and pretty similar amongst like around the world actually. So that's pretty cool. So where, like, in terms of your future, is this something that you want to carry forward? Are you going to pass the baton, like once you're like no longer like a future dentist? Like, how is that going to work out? Like, have you thought about that transition, or like how you're going to maintain it, or what are you going to do with it?
Yeah, well, I also originally created the account. I'm a very active member of ASDA, which is the American Student Dental Association, and I was the vice president of my chapter. So I made it thinking I'd like get more help from like the people in my chapter, but I kind of like took over and started doing everything myself. I got really into it. But to be honest, I haven't, besides giving the account to my brother or somebody in my ASDA chapter, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
'Cause I would like to see it continue, and I know the pre-dents really do they really do benefit from it. Like the people who run the account for the day, they get a lot of questions from the pre-dents, what is you're looking for, or like, why should I go to this school? And I think it's most useful as that tool. So yeah, that's what I'll probably do. I'll keep Instagram for myself, and I'll give the Snapchat to them.
Yeah. So it's kind of because we talked about it over the past few days a little bit, because I was reaching out to you guys because I'm pretty new to this whole thing, to get your opinion on like Facebook as a medium, or like Twitter or Snapchat. And you mentioned that you used to use Snapchat a fair bit, but the like usage has kind of like tailed off a little bit. So are you still active on there, or is it something that you've sort of given up and just more focused on like Instagram stories and all that?
So the Snapchat, I'll always use that for the dental school takeovers, because it is easy to just give somebody the username and password and have them do that and then have them interact. I think people are much more likely to ask questions and do that on the Snapchat. Just Instagram stories don't really allow for like a back and forth kind of questioning like that. The Snapchat does. And I think the Snapchat does have a younger demographic, which are the pre-dents.
Exactly.
Don't see that part of the population stopping to use it. We might have plateaued with our users, but I'm gonna still keep on doing the Snapchat, not as frequently. Like last year I literally had in my calendar every day like a different country, and like every night before I'd email them the password. This year is more like once a week.
That's pretty cool. That's a good idea though. Like I haven't used like Snapchat that much. I used to like just like with friends and stuff, like nothing to like create a brand or anything like that, like, as a project. But it seems pretty cool. Like it's a good application for like the account takeovers. I think it's a great idea. People just it's like a cool insight that you wouldn't have otherwise, right? Someone like takes their phone with them into their school and like shows everything. So that's awesome. And so what in terms of like other stuff, like you mentioned your Ignite DDS, like what's that project about?
So Ignite DDS is it basically teaches you everything dental school doesn't teach you. So they have lots of like live events. So they'll go to schools and they'll like rent out the bar for the night, and they'll do a lecture, and then they'll have like a networking event after. Or the CEO of the company, Dr. David Rice, he does lots of speaking engagements, and he'll talk to dental students as well. And they mostly focus on, they originally started out as a resource for dentists, new dentists, to kind of navigate the field, because right now it's hard to go from dental school to associateship to owning your own practice. So they kind of asked the link for that, but they've expanded to much more than that. And now the goal is, to help dental students learn about all the different materials available on the market, or what, how to get into residency and all those things that like a school might only teach one way how to do, or might not even show you at all.
That's pretty cool. And how long has that been around? I hadn't really heard about it till recently.
I don't know when it started. I can tell you when I started with it.
Yeah.
That's my first year.
Okay, cool. How did you hear about them in first year? Like, were they doing an event at your school? Or?
Exactly. He was at the National Leadership Conference in Chicago. And I heard him speak and I was like, wow, like he gets it.
Yeah.
I gotta meet him.
That's so cool.
Now we're like partners almost. Not partners, but we work closely together.
That's incredible. And because that's funny, because like that's something that in the back of my mind I'm trying to do with the newbie dentist. But I wasn't aware of like Ignite DDS, like pretty much doing the exact same thing. So I'm kind of like, shit, like it's pretty cool. So what's the platforms then? So you guys, you do like lectures, you said at the university. Is there like an online platform as well?
There's a website that they're revamping, and there's the Facebook group and Instagram. So yeah.
Okay, pretty cool. And so next year when you're going to be, into your residency, are you hoping to maintain like, working with Ignite DDS? And or do you think it's gonna be a little bit trickier with like working and stuff, like not having the time to do it?
I mean, I'm not in the residency yet, so I don't know. But
yeah,
I think I've always managed to make time for stuff I enjoy doing, and I do enjoy working for Ignite DDS and doing the Future Dentist stuff. And it takes like an hour of my day.
Yeah.
So I don't see myself stopping.
That's pretty cool. So you mentioned you want to do ortho residency. How did you come up with that decision versus like other specialties or staying as a GP? What made you so like attached to ortho at such an early stage in your career?
Well, I really liked certain aspects of ortho, and I mean, just like the generic answers, like, I like working with kids, and I really like the planning phase of it, and the technology involved. And I've had some really great mentors that are orthodontists. So it's kind of like the be like Mike.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be like them. So
yeah. Okay, that's pretty cool. So is ortho is it 3 years or 2 years? Like most of the programs in the States?
Most are 3, but I got lucky. I'm in a 2-year one.
Okay, nice. So you're going straight into ortho. You're not doing like a GPR and then applying for ortho.
Great.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's insane. I don't know, like, because like in Australia, like that option, usually people have to work for a few years, especially for ortho, because it's such a competitive like specialty to get into. It's so sought after. Like most people have to work for like 3 or 4 years and then like apply and get in. So it's pretty cool that you can go like straight from like dental school right into the res. So in 2 years' time, you're gonna be pretty much like a young orthodontist.
I know, it's insane to think about.
Yeah,
I can't even a 4th-year dental student.
I know, that's crazy. And did you go straight from undergrad into dental school, or like you did a master's or anything like that? Or
I went straight
through. Okay, nice.
Yeah, no stopping.
Killing it. And would you work with your dad and stuff later on, or you kind of want to set up your own sort of your own gig?
I hope he hires me.
Yeah.
He threatens that he won't sometimes. He says that.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, my dad's my role model, so
yeah,
it would be awesome if I could work with him, and then my brother too.
Yeah.
So that's the plan.
That's cool. I always admire that. Like my dad's not a dentist, but I've always like admired like those like legacies where like the dad's a dentist and like all the kids become like dentists and like their kids. I guess like what I'm hoping, like maybe like when I have kids and stuff, like hopefully they'll follow suit and be dentists, so we can like build a little empire for ourselves. But so outside of the dental thing, obviously you're so active with like the Instagram page with Ignite DDS. Talk to me a little bit about like what your like ambitions are like outside of dentistry. Like, is it to be like a lecturer, or do you want to be like just like a business person, or like what's like because I know we all, like some of us, like we all have that like side hustle like mentality of like we want to do something, we want to grow something, we want to build something. So I'm curious to see like what because obviously you're doing that stuff from an early stage, like in dental school. You joined Ignite DDS in like first year, which is like pretty cool. So what was like the motivation behind that, and like where do you hope the side thing that you have going on outside of like residency and all that stuff takes you?
I mean, I love dentistry. Like, I don't want people to think that since I'm doing all this other stuff, I'm trying to like just use dentistry as a path to like do more business stuff, because that's not the case at all. I really like the idea of like having all the different schools and people in the industry like connected and like sharing all the knowledge. So that's really where my passion and like drive is coming from. I don't know, I'm only 26, so I don't really have like a clear vision of my future. I just kind of do what I like, and I like working with all these different people and learning from all these different people. And that's a cool thing about social media, that you can be talking to somebody in another country, in another time zone so easily, and sharing with them. And so I like that aspect. And I find too that a lot of the people involved on like with like Ignite DDS or like on social media, that they're really passionate about dentistry, and like that feeling's contagious. So I just like it.
Yeah. That's cool, man. And it's funny that you said that. Like, I always feel like people maybe like, I wonder if people think that, or people question, like, because the same thing, I'm like, I'm doing so much stuff on the side, like outside of dentistry or like related to dentistry that's not clinical, that people can be like, is he just like looking for a way out so he doesn't have to like practice like clinically anymore? And I'm like, no, like it just feeds into like what I'm doing clinically. I like sharing my cases. I like sharing ideas. I like connecting with people and like, networking and whatever kind of organically sort of like grows from that. I think that's pretty cool. Like, why not do that? Like, it's better than the alternative, like you go working 9 to 5, coming home and just like watching Netflix and like just like watching like basketball or whatever. It's cool to like have that little project that gets you like pumped to do something, right?
Yeah. Instead of playing video games, I do this, I guess.
Yeah. That's cool. So what's like, so for someone who's listening right now, or even for myself to learn, obviously like I'm just starting out in this whole thing, what tips would you have, like in terms of the type of content or the best way to network and connect with people? So I'm just curious to see like what your experience has been and what you've learned along the way that might be useful for other people who are trying to create something within dentistry or turn one of their hobbies into something a bit more legit.
I would say content is key. Like, you're not going to get anywhere if you're producing subpar content. That just goes for, social media. For getting connected and networking, it's really just about reaching out and following through. I think a lot of people, they try and do all this stuff and take on all this stuff, and they just kind of get overwhelmed, or they realize like they're not really into it. But you just got to keep on going. And the dental world is filled with a lot of people who want to help. Like, truly, just if there's somebody that they think can learn a lot, that they're helping, or they'll learn a lot from, they'll go out of their way. Just like, for example, we have like an aesthetics club at the school, and we've asked, international lecturers to come, and they like, no question. And we don't even pay them, like they just want to come and share their knowledge with students who
that's amazing.
Who want to learn. So yeah, just don't lose the drive. Don't lose the passion.
Stick with it.
That's cool. Build a good reputation.
Yeah, the reputation is key. And it's interesting too. Like, I feel like a lot of the bigger dental pages are not content creators; they're like curators, right? So what do you think has more value? Like, do you think like even being a bit more like small time, but like producing your own content versus like being a massive page, but like it's nothing that's yours. You kind of just like your talent is like finding good stuff and like posting it. What do you think about that like difference?
It's kind of hypocritical of me because like I give my account to people and they post for me. And
it's the best business model. I like it.
But I'm also involved in other things that like where we create content. It doesn't necessarily need to be like drawing or like literally creating it. It can just be an extension of the work you're doing in clinic and whatnot.
Yeah.
The content I create is mostly I help run my dad's page.
Okay, nice. What's your dad's page?
It's I Smile NYC.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, he does a dentistry, but I help organize the pictures,
promote the page
and whatnot. But doing that, I see how hard it is to get good content, and that's why I think good content prevails because it's hard to do.
Yeah, it's like a lot of work. Like on my work too, and I'm trying to like obviously like make my own, like produce my own content, like clinical pictures and stuff. Especially like when you get busier at work, it's so hard to like have that in the back. I'm like, oh, okay, hold on, I gotta stop everything. Like, let me take a picture of this, just so I can like post it on Instagram. Like, it's like a really big like commitment that you gotta be like fully like up for it. Otherwise, it's so easy just to like go like 2 weeks to like, oh man, like I got too busy, I didn't take any pictures, I didn't like do anything,
exactly.
Produce any content, right?
So do you want to create content or do you want to make money?
Yeah, it's like it's such a hard like split. So obviously, like when I wasn't like too busy, like it was pretty easy because I had like more time. But now like things are picking up a little bit at work, and like busier than I was maybe like 6, 7, 8 months ago. So I'm like finding it harder and harder to like do stuff like that. So I think it's true. Like people who stick with it, like you said, and actually like continue to put in the work over time, like they'll just rise to the top and be successful in what they're doing. So yeah, it's awesome, man. Thank you. Thanks a lot for coming on. It was a good chat. It was good to see what you guys are up to in your dental school, and just for myself and for the listeners, like get to talk to someone who's been pretty successful with with their side hustle and like the Future Dentist page that you're doing and Ignite DDS. I'll definitely check out Ignite DDS because I think even down the line, like it'd be nice if I can somehow like collaborate with you guys because I may be moving down to Australia. So I don't know if you guys have like any outreach there because I was trying to create something similar. So maybe we can just partner up. That might work out too. So definitely keep me in the loop.
You could be like the Australia, fire starter there.
Yeah, exactly. So let me know. We'll stay in touch and hopefully we can get something going there. That'd be awesome.
Awesome. Great talking to you, man.
Thank you. All right. Take care. Bye.